So today we'll be making this bikini. This bikini I created in 2014, I think it was, and it was one of my designs that was really famous on Instagram. Anyway, I'll be teaching you how to make this design here. To make this bikini, you can be using either this yarn, which is fixation, okay, or you can be using 4-ply thread as well. I'm gonna put as always, the link for the yarn on the description below. Okay, to make one piece, you're gonna use 50 grams of yarn. If you're making a large, consider buying 2 balls, because 3 balls for a set, 2 balls for one piece, because you need a little more yarn. So I'm gonna be using this hook here. And I'm also gonna be using elastic, 5mm elastic flat for swimwear, okay? Also, if you want to add lining, I would recommend add lining, even more if it's white, because it's kind of see-through. So I'm gonna leave the lining tutorial on the description below, okay? It's a separate video, so this one's not too long. And that's it, guys. Let's get into it and make this beautiful bikini. To start this bottom, we're going to make a slip stitch. I'm making size small, okay, so I'm gonna chain 33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After I'm starting in the front, on the front part of this bikini. After I made my 33 chains, I'm going to double crochet one in the 4th chain from the hook. And then I'm going to double crochet across all the way to the other side. And then after that, I'm going to repeat, make 7 rows of the same work, so 7 total, okay? So 7 rows of double crochets. And just so you know as well, I'm using 2 chains to turn throughout the pattern. But in my chart, because I made it a while ago, I used to use 3 chains to turn. And I realized that making 2 helps to keep the work more straight here on the side, so I now use 2 chains, okay? So if it says 3 anywhere, I'm now using 2, okay? Over the years, I made hundreds of these bikinis, so I've been changing the pattern over the years, so it fits better as well. So after my 7 rows, I'm going to start making this shape here. So I'm gonna decrease here, and the way I did that is I chained 1 to turn, then I'm just going to slip stitches all the way to the 6th stitch number 6, okay? Just slip stitches, so 2, 4 right on top of the 6th stitch, and then I'm going to chain 2 to start this row now. So now I'm going to repeat all the way to the other side, and then when I have 5 left here, so 5, I'm going to make all the way to here and leave the 5 empty at the end, okay? So finished here, I have last 5 stitches on each side, okay? And then from here I'm going to just chain 2 and make it all the way to the other side. So the way I'm going to decrease is on this last stitch here, I'm going to make only 1 here, and then I'm going to decrease each end, always at the end of the rows, and I'm going to decrease until I have 10 stitches left. And as you can see, I'm going to skip 1 stitch, but it's almost not noticeable, so I should be making 2 here at the end. I'm only gonna make 1 right here, and then I'm going to turn turn to the next row. And I'm gonna keep doing this until I have now 10 stitches left, okay? And now I'm going to make, and then I'm going to make a few rows with only 10 stitches. So I finish here making, as you can see here, the last 11 rows were only with 10 stitches, okay? And I made 30 from here to here. I normally make 30 for a small, okay? I make around 32, 33 for a medium, 35, 36 for a large, okay? And so the height I have here is 25 centimeters, okay? Because I'm gonna fold it, that's gonna be sort of like this. You want around 20 centimeters high for a small, okay? So from now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start increasing 1 stitch in every side. To do that, I chain 2 on the beginning, and then I'm going to make the next stitch in that same first stitch. This way I'll be increasing 1 here. So in swimwear you have to always increase on both sides, so you have both sides the same. Same with decreasing, you always have to decrease the same number of stitches on both sides so you have them even at the end. And as you can see, the edges are really nice because I'm using only 2 chains to turn. And then here, the one just before the end one, I'm going to make 2 double crochets in that same stitch as well. Okay, so, and 1 at the end. You can be increasing until you reach a height that you like. You can be using one of your swimsuits, you can, one of your bottoms, just place your bottom underneath it and see if you like the height, the length of it. If you want this to be a G-string, increase every second row. If you want this to be to have a moderate coverage, increase 4 on the first 2 rows, okay? So 2 each side, 2 each side, and then keep going with only 2 each side. And then you're gonna have a wider back and a bigger coverage in this case. So there was another thing that I want to say. So after finishing increasing, place your swimwear bottoms on the back of it and see and compare with the height of both. Normally the height of your crochet bikini has to be a bit, the length has to be a bit longer, because just a little bit, not much, okay? But because this yarn doesn't have any stretch to it, okay? So I finished increasing here on this side. Now I have 37 centimeters, 37. And here at the end of this row, to make this again on the other side, this part here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 7 at the end. And then I'm going to start with a slip knot on the other side of that same row to make that other side on the back as well. Okay, so I'm just going to put in this stitch right on the corner here, on the last stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, and then after that I'm going to chain 9. And then I'm going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to double crochet here. And then 1 double crochet in each double crochet all the way to the end, including the chains we made on the other side as well. So I made 4 rows here, and I have 20 centimeters going that way. So now what I'm going to do is that row for the flowers on the back, and to start that I make 3 chains. So 3 chains and a double crochet in that same first stitch, and then skip 1, 2, 3, 4. In that fifth stitch we are going to make 1 double crochet and 3 chains, and then we're gonna single crochet in that same stitch, and we're gonna chain 6. We're gonna skip 1, 2, 3, 4 again. On the 5th one, single crochet. And then we're gonna repeat this flower again. This flower can be done with 3 petals as well. I just make like this because I think it's too thick otherwise. So start with 3 chains, double crochet in that same one. Skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th one, double crochet. Because we could be making different coverages here, and normally in this area here you don't have the same number of stitches, then you have to kind of get this row working with the stitch. So here, as you can see, I made my 6 chains, and as you can see I have more than 10 stitches here. So what I'm going to do is on these last two stitches I'm going to skip 5 instead of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 6th one I'm going to make my stitch, and this way I'm going to make it work with 5 flowers. And now here 1, 2, 3, double crochet, and then in that last stitch just before the last, my double crochet with 3 chains. Then I'm going to finish this flower here in that second chain from the beginning. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't make much difference just to adjust the stitch to the number of stitches you have on the row underneath it. And now I'm going to chain 4. Okay, and I'm going to the next row. So the next row we are going to make 2 double crochets together in this first double crochet. So 1, 2, and that's to make the second part of this flower, and then 4 in between. And then in that same stitch again, 2 more double crochets together. And this is our flower. And then here I'm going to make 3 chains, join with a single crochet in that next arch, chain 3 again, and go to the next flower. And then I'm gonna make 1 more row of only double crochets, okay? So finish this row here because this is like 2 rows. We're gonna finish with a treble here in this last stitch. So the stitch has the same height of the other one. Okay, and then we're going to the last row. I'm gonna chain 2, double crochet in that first stitch on top of the petal, and I'm gonna be making 3 here, only 3. not 4. So 3 in between the petals, 1 on top of it. Now I'm gonna make 1, 2 here, 2 here, and I'm going to skip this 1 and 2 here. And then the same thing all the way to the end, so I have the same amount of stitches on this side and on this side, okay? I finished this row here. As you can see, it's very similar in size than the one before. That's what we wanted. And now I'm going to start working on the side. So for the sides, what I do is I count each row as 2 stitches. So I'm going to only have 2 stitches in each row, okay? I'm going to repeat a very simple one. So it's 2 chains to go to the side. And then I'm going to be making right in between, in the middle of this next row, the first double crochet. And then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to make 2 more here in this in these chains. And then chain 1, and then skip 1 there, 2 more here. I'm aiming for 6 clusters of 2 double crochets, okay, and a chain in the middle. So skip 1 here. This is just because we want them all the sides to have the same amount of stitches, because we want to make the sides exactly the same. And here one last, my last stitch, I want it to be here, right on that where the tail was. So to turn now, I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet a few, two left. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to start working on the side. So I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to straight to the middle of that 2 rows on the other side, and then 1 here, chain 1, skip this one. And then when you get to this part here on the other side, you just repeat the same thing, okay? So I'm here on the other side. As you can see, I have 2, 4, 6 as well. Okay, that's because I need 3 to each one of the sides of my bikini. And so I'm going to make 2 chains to turn the work. And then to make this first flower, I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to double crochet 2 together in this chain from before. And then straight to the second space there, 2 together again. And then chain 2 and finish the row always with 2 double crochets. Okay, so this is 1 row. We're gonna make 3 for this flower. Same thing, chain 2, turn, double crochet in that double crochet. We're gonna always repeat this beginning here. And now instead of making 2 chains, we are going to start the petals from here, so it's like a flower at the end. We're gonna work on all the stitches in this stitch here, the same stitch. And it's 1, 2 together, 3 chains in the middle to separate the petals, and 2 more at the other end. So it's like a little flower again. And then 2 double crochets at the end there, and 2 chains to turn. Double crochet again, and this is our final row. 1, 2, 3 chains, single crochet in that arch, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochets on the beginning. Okay, now this 4th row here that I'm making, it's a bit different than the first one, because in the first one we didn't have these arches here. So now we're gonna have, so from now on we're gonna have, okay? So double crochet there, as always. And then chain 2, exactly the same thing we did on the first one, but we are going to double crochet 2 together in this arch here. So 1, 2, and then 2 in the other arch, and that's gonna form the bottom petals, and then 2 double crochets at the end. So from now on you're gonna repeat the same rows. So you're gonna repeat this row here, and then this row here, and you're gonna repeat this flower 7 times, so you're gonna have 21 rows, okay? So as you can see here, I have 7 flowers, and I have around 18 centimeters. And now I folded this way, so the right side's facing inside, and this way I'm gonna finish here. So one stitch to almost every stitch here. So I'm going to put in that first one there, right on the corner, and I'm going to slip stitch, then through the second one here, and the second one there, and another slip stitch, and the third one, and I'm going to finish every single side this same way. Okay, so when I'm finished there, this is what I have. Almost can't see it. And then I'm going to single crochet one here and one more here to start the next side. And so now I'm going to repeat this side. One more thing, make sure it's not twisted when you join, okay? So I'm gonna go and make same thing 4 times, okay? 2 times each side. And then after this, it's starting to look good. And then after I finish this, I'm going to add elastic here, and on the waist as well, okay? So now I finished this side. I'm not gonna cut the yarn. The yarn's here, because I'm going to add elastic. So my elastic is 5 millimeters flat. It's a special for swimwear, okay? So it doesn't stretch when you're going to the sea. And the way I do it's just like this. Fold it, put it all the way from the bottom to the top here. And this has to be like around 3 fingers smaller at the end when you close the loop, okay? And then you cut one, and straight away cut the other one, just so they have the same size. And the one for the waist, it is a little longer, okay? Just because the waist is bigger. So these are the 2. I'm going to join them on both ends. Put the hook through that first stitch, and then we're gonna just place this part here. I like to place in between the legs, just because It's a bit thicker and you won't show this way, so place it there, right in between the legs, and then the rest of it you're gonna crochet over it. So the way you do it is put your hook through and underneath the elastic, and then you're gonna grab that yarn and pull it over the top of your elastic. And then again on the next stitch, pull it, single crochet. And then, so I'm going to make one stitch in between in the middle of this row and one in between both rows. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and that's the back of it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it, because remember we had an elastic that's smaller than the size of our crochet. So the reason why is because it has to do this, okay? We're gonna be pulling only on the side. We don't wanna pull much on this part, because otherwise it's not gonna look that good. So we need to pull as much as we can here, so when we get to this part here we have enough elastic to just cover it without pulling it. Okay, so I'm going to finish cover this, and then I'm going to make all the other side that's exactly the same, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I made the waist. So to finish this bikini off, we are going to finish on the waist here. And as you can see, I made the loop with the elastic that is a few fingers smaller than the total size of the waist part. And that's so it holds, this is gonna hold on your body when you swim. So I made here a slip knot to start. And I like to start always on the back, so the knots are on the back. I'm going to start here with a slip stitch. So slip knot, slip stitch, and then after I made this, I'm going to add that elastic on the back, and then just single crochet like we did before, right on top of it. So we covered this elastic. Okay, so I'm gonna cover all around, and then when I'm on the sides, I'm going to pull it a bit on the sides, because I want the sides to have this stretching here. And also, if you're not using the yarn fixation, you need to put elastic in the middle here as well, okay? So this is ready. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I see you next week with another one. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week.